He does the clicking sounds of the Predator. A lot of people don't know that. And he's Eeyore. Transform and roll out. Let's just mash him up, right? Yes.
Two things. One, we've seen a hint of what they might do with Team Gohan in the history of Trunks.
Okay.
Coverage, but that
that's true.
That was kind of an alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, because things happen differently in Trunks' timeline. So, but like he was like he regarded his father as a good man, but at the same time, he's like, I like how Bowen's like, you know, go on, you remind me so much of your father, and he's like chowing up with regard.
Mm-hmm.
All you have is you wear his gi. It's the only thing he left me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we had a chance to do remastered versions of those movies, Chris Abbott told me, it's like, we have the option, because you're Gohan, to have you redub it, because it was originally Damian Clark, who was Cell. And it's like, they decided to keep it that way because it's an alternate version.
Yeah.
So I'm the narrator, I redubbed the narrator for it, but it's still Damian as future Gohan, I guess. Ultimate Gohan or whatever.
And also about bloopers on DVDs, the only anime that I've owned where the bloopers are there is Kenshin.
Kenshin, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't Berserk have them? They're on YouTube.
Oh,
People
yeah,
upload.
yeah, Berserk.
The Berserk ones are hilarious.
I'm about to look them up.
And Horon, yeah.
My particular favorite of Kenshin bloopers is the scene is just a quiet pond, and Kenshin goes, "I can't hear any birds, no animals. I don't hear any fish."
I like that. Listen, you smell something?
Yeah, I like how Lex Lane as it was his son, Lex Lane as Sanosuke, and one of the bloopers said, "I forwarded and then the bomb flew up into the ship."
Yeah, Lex Lang got to be on Rogue One. I think Yuri Lowenthal did too. So some of your anime people show up in movies that you don't know. Stay through the credits and read the original voices. You'll see something like, "Man, you lucky bastards." I could die happy if I got to like be a stormtrooper or something.
And still be shot and be like,
and still die. I don't care, man. I'm in Star Wars. I would take that to the grave.
I like how Yuri Lowenthal was a poor man, a poor human turned zombie in a Resident Evil movie.
Oh yeah, I played some zombies in that. Resident Evil 5 and 6 and 7.
Yeah, he had like one line. He was telling a stewardess, said send a message to someone, and it was showing that he had a zombified hand he was carrying. So yeah, it was like, hey, Sasuke doesn't love me.
That's right. Yeah, good times. You had a question?
Yeah, did it ever, like, surprise you how popular the line reading of It's Over 9,000 got?
Yeah, I don't know why it's so popular.
I mentioned that.
Yeah. And then it's like the original line is 8,000. Like, why did they change it? 8 and 9 have the same number of syllables.
We gotta see if we can get them.
Does 9 sound cooler?
I would love to meet those three. I'm trying to
So
get
when you
Liam
hear,
to
no,
buy
but
it.
it's 8,000, it
Yeah,
sounds
they were
wrong to
buying
everyone's
it
ears
from
because
Hong
they
Kong.
heard it 9,000, unless you just watched it in Japanese and never watched it in the dub. But you have the Ocean Group version, and that's Brian Drummond as Vegeta, and that's the meme. It's like, that's how you know you've made it, when you become meme-ified or something like that. Like, there's Ryu, and there's this footage of Taylor Swift playing at the piano, and she's like, looks like she's banging her head, and then someone took this Ryu kicking, and it looks like he's kicking her head. And at the end, they lift my voice track, goes, I must train harder. I'm like, yay, I made it into a meme. Awesome. Is your arm up, or are you just resting? I don't know.
Let's go with yes.
Let's go with yes. Okay.
Let's talk about some movies.
Yay, movies! Yay!
Movies. So, like, what particular genre of movies do you find yourself a big fan of?
I love action. I love horror. I love science fiction. Fantasy. Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. Couldn't get into The Hobbit, though, because so many people said, meh. And I kind of go on what critics are saying and what my friends say and some of the online vibes. Uh-oh, that will raise or lower my expectations. You know, sometimes movies come out and they flop and they're still good, like Dread. Not the Stallone one, but the one with Carl Urban, you know. This was just a few years ago, and now they're talking about a TV series. It's like, yes, John Wick, I'm a huge fan of the Keanu Reeves movies, 1 and 2, and now they're going to make a TV series based on the group of assassins that he works for. And he might even show up in an episode. He's not going to be the focus of it, but it's like, oh, that's sweet. Love it, love it, love it. Genre TV, I loved Legion. That's a Marvel show. It's on FX. Really, really cool. It's Professor X's kid, except he doesn't know it. Like he grows. He's like one of the most powerful mutants out there, and he's raised to believe that he's insane. So he's in an insane asylum. But the truth is, they're afraid of him. So they keep him in an asylum. Because once he wakes up and knows that he's powerful. There's only one season out there, and I think you can catch up on Hulu or something. Another one that I loved was The Exorcist. That was on Fox. It was kind of a sequel to the original 1973 movie, if you like horror. But it was really, really good with Gina Davis. And remember Fry from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Cameron? That was his buddy. He was 30 when he made that movie. What? Okay. I love Aliens. Alien Covenant was okay. It's all right. It's better than Prometheus. I love The Matrix. There are scenes in the sequels that are cool, but overall, like, nah, I'll just stick to the first one. Good with that.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, big Sam Raimi fan.
Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness, yeah. Evil Dead 2 is actually my personal favorite out of the Evil Dead films, but Army of Darkness is classic as well.
Oh, the classic hand scene.
Yeah, like the hands, all the sound stuff, the sound design, the wacky camera movements. Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV series is a spin-off of Evil Dead. That's a lot of fun. I love the Battlestar Galactica reboot for Sci-Fi Channel a few years back. I'm a big Firefly fan. Serenity, Brown Coat. I geeked out. I was in New Zealand recently, and I met Jewel State, and she is one of the crew on Firefly, Kaylee. And it's like, I managed to not tell her once. I didn't want to turn into fanboy mode. I was just like, I'm cool. Let's go out to eat. Like, cool. I'm talking to Kaylee from Firefly. How's your trip? How's your con? Like, just going great. It happens. We all fanboy and fangirl, and we all get really self-conscious about it. Especially when you go to these pop culture shows, and it's like, oh my God, there's Stan Lee. Oh my God, there's George Takei. Oh my God, there was Adam West. Oh man, sad face.
Yeah,
That was my Batman, y'all. I grew up on the '60s Batman.
What do you think they're gonna do about his Adam West, Mayor West character?
About Mayor West? I don't know. They'll probably just pass it along. But he did record a second animated Batman movie with Burt Ward. He's completely finished that project, so we'll see that soon. There's an ABC show or NBC show called Powerless that got canceled, but they're going to go ahead and release this unshown episode that has Adam West in it, which is good. Powerless was it's all right, but it was the idea that there's this company that helps deal with the aftermath of superhero battles in the DC universe, anyway. Yes.
If you were in the Ruby universe, what would your weapon be?
That's a good question. I haven't seen Ruby. I know people that have worked on it. I know it's a thing. I know it's a popular thing. I've not seen it. Why did they call it Ruby if it's RWBY? Is that an internet speak term?
Red, white, black, yellow.
Red, white, black, yellow.
Yep.
The main characters are a team: Ruby Rose, Vaishni, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong. So it's made up of their names.
Oh,
Yep.
well, crap. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind. All right.
They're with all teams of 4 people, and
Okay.
they'll make words out of it. And I think all the schools do it.
Yeah, and I think don't they have like their own distinctive colors too?
Yeah,
Yes.
they do. All the characters, there needs to be like the actual
Mhm.
the people who made it had like a character spreadsheet, if you will.
Okay.
And your characters need to have like a color base.
Okay.
Like they don't have to be like all blue, but like
Mhm.
a theme like Neapolitan ice cream, Neo.
Nice.
So-
Okay. And that's from Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah.
Red versus blue guys? Yeah.
The main thing about the weapons is that each one of them is also a gun,
Yep.
except for Jean's sword.
Each one is a god?
Gun.
Oh, gun. It's like, wow, that got really impressive all of a sudden. Every weapon is a god. Speaking of another thing that I love right now is American Gods. It's by Neil Gaiman. It was a novel that came out like 15 years ago. It's about how it's dealing with this fantastically, really interesting, gory, explicit story about how gods of old deal with losing favor with their worshipers. Like the gods now need new media and things like that, whereas old gods by old cultures that no longer exist can't thrive because they don't have followers. It's a really intriguing concept. So check that out. That's on Stars. Thank you. Highly recommended. Okay, next, yes.
Yeah, whenever I tried to get my friends to read that book series, whenever they asked me what it was about, I explained it's basically adulterated Percy Jackson.
Adulterated Percy Jackson, which I've not seen, but I guess if people see Percy Jackson, they're like, all right, we need a frame of reference.
The movies compared to the books.
The books were so much better, the movies suck.
The books will always be better, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a movie that's
Harry
like
Potter?
exponentially
Well, not better than the
like
book, but
Percy Jackson.
Harry Potter was
Well,
still
what makes it
yeah, Princess
is
Bride.
that they removed one of the big plot twists.
Oh, okay. See, I'm a movie fan. I'm not a book person. I'm too ADD to read, honestly. I don't normally read books. I prefer movies, so I'm not going to ever compare. So I say, as a movie series, Harry Potter didn't really get me. Maybe I was too old. Maybe it's like, I don't know. It just didn't really resonate with me. But people swear by the books. Like, okay, well, that's fine. You can't get me to read The Hobbit to save my life, or any of the Lord of the Ring books. But I love the movies. Again, I'm visual. I need the movies.
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones I haven't seen.
Meh.
And I'm almost afraid to because there's so many characters. And almost all of them die.
Yeah.
It's like, don't get attached to them. I did love The Walking Dead. I kind of got away with it and liked it. And I want to go back into it because I love the show. I didn't read the comic, although I hear that it is different, and I like that they're doing differences. You don't want it to be frame for frame exactly the same. That's boring. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. Okay, you had a follow-up?
One of my favorite parts about Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones is just George R.R. Martin's tweets.
Yeah, he's funny.
There was this one specifically that made me laugh really hard where a fan tweeted him and said, "Please don't kill so-and-so," and he just replied, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, thank God for YouTube. It's like, what is the big deal about Game of Thrones? And then I see a link that said, Red Wedding. So I watched the Red Weddings. It's like, this is brutal. I would probably be emotionally gutted right now if I knew what was going on. Oh, here's a sword piercing a pregnant woman's belly. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That scene gave me nightmares for like 2
I
weeks.
would imagine so. I could see why, but you have context. I didn't.
I get we have a political battle going on, but there's a zombie invasion outside the walls. Can we focus on that first?
Little things. Little things. Yeah.
So, do you know Neil Gaiman's comics, The Sandman?
Sandman is my favorite comic book of all
Do
time.
you know Lucifer, the
Mhm.
TV series?
I do. I mean,
You love it?
I do love it.
I love it.
It's a guilty pleasure. It's completely dorky and cheesy, but Lucifer, Satan, comes to Earth to live a mortal life, and he teams up with a detective, and they solve crimes. Doesn't that sound dorky as hell?
I really like
The
it.
best thing is I didn't put together it was from the Sandman comics, like the side characters.
I mean, very loosely based.
Yeah, loosely. So I never put it together, and then it's just like I read this one article on Facebook that seemed cheesy, and then I was reading it and saw it was sourced by New York Times, and I was like, wait, what? And
Yeah.
I started remembering the season, wait, the character is totally. And it clicked, and I screamed, and Facebook. My friends hated me for 24 hours because I just blew up all.
Technically, Lucifer is from Sandman. Sandman is DC Comics. It was Vertigo, which was an adult line of comics from DC, so it's the DC universe, technically speaking. And then also another really cool facet of the Lucifer, I mean, my favorite thing is when any of the demons or Lucifer himself goes to the shrink. And the shrink is describing, because he can't wrap his head around how mortals think. And the shrink is describing how people work and everything. It's like, fascinating.
And then wrong direction. She's like, "Yep, that's exactly what I meant. Go ahead."
Yep. Yeah, that's true. My favorite of the TV comic book things came and went in one season, unfortunately, was Constantine. And Constantine came back on an episode of Arrow, and I wish the show would just show up, but I mean, maybe it's too similar to Supernatural, I don't know, because he does solve supernatural things. But God, Constantine's good. Yes?
I wanted to go back to the fanboy kind of comment.
Oh, fanboying, yes.
Yes. So, the first time, and this is actually pretty funny, because the first time in 2009, I had went to Comic-Con, and because I live in New York, so I went to Comic-Con and I needed help parking my wheelchair. Mm-hmm. So someone comes along. It was at your panel, actually. So someone comes along and they help me, and they're like, "So what are you here for?" And I'm like, "Oh, Kyle Hebert, he does go on," and he's like, "Oh, I'm in Dragon Ball Z too." I'm like, "Okay, who do you play?" Goku.
So you just bumped into Sean.
Yeah, and it's like,
cool.
Oh my God, I kind of almost screamed his head off.
That's funny. See, yeah, Sean's hilarious. He's super smart, and he's like a walking, living Red Bull.
Like
he's
like Goku then.
Yeah, he really is Goku.
Like and then another time was like when I met it was Crispin Freeman and Huri Lowenthal. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And that was when I first like got into like Naruto. So I'm like, oh, I just died. I do that every time, so I'm even fangirling right now. Aww. Just so you know. So,
but yeah. Out when I met up with people, especially when I moved to LA, just to get their perspective on the industry and what things, tips that I should do.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Crispin Freeman, and he was a la carte in Helsinki and all that. Very established, super guy. And I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I'm new in Los Angeles. Would you mind like grabbing coffee sometime and we could just talk shop?" And he did. And he took me. It's like, so I'm kind of fanboying out as we're sitting here. Here I am in beautiful Santa Monica, California, and near the beach, and at a coffee shop, and I'm talking with this great veteran and someone that I admire so much. And I'm in the same industry as him, and he's helping me as the new guy in LA. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Or meeting Billy West, Fry from Futurama, Ren and Stimpy. He's one of the M&Ms on the M&M commercials. Tons of stuff. He is amazing. Rob Paulson, Maurice LaMarche, Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. These guys are cartoon voice gods to me. I've met Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime. I've met Frank Welker, who's Freddy and Megatron. It's like, oh my God. I totally geek out. I haven't met Mark Hamill yet, but he's been in the studio when I record things.
So have you another thing that was kind of like it happened, and when I realized who it was and that this was happening, I lost my shit because I was kind of going around Comic-Con again because I go to Comic-Con a lot.
Yeah.
And I look at this table and there's a lot of pictures of like Princess Leia. So I'm just looking and then I look up and I'm like,
yeah.
And she's like, hi, and I'm like,
She have her dog with her?
Yeah, and Gary. I'm like, and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, no. That happened with her and that happened with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, but I have a question. Is there an actor that you have met that you were just like...
There are ones that I've been in the same room as and I was too afraid to say anything.
Like who?
Stan Lee, George Takei.
Oh my.
Oh my. Yeah. God.
Have you met Shatner?
I have not met William Shatner. But he was on a flight that I was on. He flew economy. Why? Captain Kirk.
He's freaking William Shatner.
He came by himself, no entourage or anything. Just had a carry-on. He wore shades, and you could tell it was him. He looks fantastic. He's in his 80s, late 80s. Looks amazing. Did not say a word to anybody. No one said a word to him. It's like they know. He has a reputation for not being the nicest guy. And he had a window seat, and I like, did the whole stealth, take a picture. Oh gosh, Shatner's on my flight. And the only time he spoke to anyone on the plane is when the flight attendant said, "Hey, would you like something to drink?" And then, he spoke up, and it's like, oh, it is him. I could tell. He's got a very distinct voice. So, yeah, I knew not to be that guy and go up to him. It makes me sad that some of these pop culture icons that you go and you pay way too much money to get their autograph or their picture, you can't even really pose with them. They tell you, don't touch them, don't look at them.
Yeah.
And you see these really awkward-looking pictures of
that's
Stan Lee smiling, and then 2 feet away is the fan going.
And that's how I felt with Mark Hamill when he went to Comic-Con, because he was and I was surprised because there was nobody. When I say nobody, I mean nobody on his line, and I'm like, this is Luke Skywalker. This is Luke Skywalker. Really, yeah. So I went over and I'm like, can I just shake your hand? And he's like, sure. He was like, I would give you an autograph or a picture, but they're looking at me. And his combo was like $100. I think it was an autograph for him was like $100. I'm like, oh, I am broke.
Yeah. How they acquire these celebrities, there's a business model in place called a guarantee. So if Mark Hamill says, oh, to have me at your con, it'll cost, or his reps, not him himself, but his reps will say, oh, you want Mark Hamill at your show, that'll be $30,000 guarantee, which means he is allowed to sell his autograph, and if he doesn't make $30,000, the con has to cover the difference.
Wow.
That's what that means. Now, it's Mark Hamill. He'll probably make $100,000 easily, especially for what his people charge for his autograph.
Yeah.
So that is why it's don't get mad at the people for the price they're charging. It's their reps and their managers kind of calling the shots. If you talk to them as people, I'm sure they would be more than happy to do all the selfies and sign stuff for free.
Yeah, because I got
people know that they can make a buck.
Yeah, because I got a free autograph from Carrie Fisher.
You got a free autograph from Carrie Fisher? How cool
because
is that?
She was just charging $80, I think it was, and I was like, oh, she was like, do you want me to sign something? And I was like, no, because I don't have the money. And she goes, she looks over at her rep and gives him a look like, you better not charge her. So he was like, no. Well, what do you want? And he, I picked out the picture and she's like, oh, can I have your name? I gave her my name and she did it. And I'm like, I just died inside.
I would die too.
And then when she passed, I came across the picture and I'm like,
yeah, it's like when Adam West passed. It's like I went to a panel he was at. I never got to meet him, but at least I got to see him speak, and God, he was so hilarious. Great storyteller. Awesome.
All night when he found out that because that was his childhood, and I guess he went through a rough one.
Yeah.
A little bit, and so Adam West, Batman was his soulless.
Yes.
And he just cried. So, and I'm not used to my dad crying because he cries when he hears the national anthem because he's a veteran, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it. Otherwise, it's jokes and just funny. And so when he's crying, I'm like, I have stuff. I went out. I bought him ice cream and such. I didn't know what to do. So
yeah. I was a little sad because I was out of town, but they did do that memorial in downtown LA where they lit the bat signal. They didn't do it in the sky. They lit it against the Capitol building or whatever. And they actually have a Hall of Justice nearby, which is really, it's like, oh wow, what a coinkydink. But there were at least 10, 20,000 people gathered in downtown LA being cool, not riots or anything, being very respectful. And Burt Ward, Robin was there, and they all just praised him. It's like, man, and my fiance and our roommate got to go to that. It's like, lucky. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't make it. Like, oh, yeah. It's that time, isn't it?
It is.
We got to pull it. Thank you for coming to Geek Talk. I hope we filled your geeky needs. And I had a wonderful weekend here at JFAX. I hope you guys did too. If you need a last-minute autograph, I'll clear this room and go out into the lobby, and I'll be happy to take care of that for you, because I have to leave for the airport pretty soon. But if you missed out on that, here's your last chance for that. Otherwise, thanks for coming. Bye.
Okay, so let's